Namaste, everyone, and welcome to part two of Anchor to Light for Wednesday. So, before we start, let's ask for a blessing, shall we? To the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, to all the saints of all traditions, to all the holy archangels, holy angels, and spiritual helpers. Personally, to my teacher, Master Tuakok Sui Mahaguji Meiling, we thank you for divine light, divine love. Thank you for your guidance, help, healing, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith, so be it. All right, so I hope all of you have been able to watch, rewatch, and watch again the earlier session. And just in case you didn't get to it, it talks about our inner life and our outer life. That's probably one of the most powerful teachings, in my humble opinion, that the great spiritual teachers, my teachers, taught. So I hope you go back to it. So tonight, I'm not going to cover too much material because I really think you have a lot to digest in that previous video. Again, it's online, wherever you are. If you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, panicking.com, magical.org, it's there. We don't take it down. So you have the ability to go back, take notes, study it over and over and over again, right? So tonight, we'll just give a little bit of extension there. So you have your inner life and your external life, or the outer life. The outer life is basically, for the general public, for most people, what they perceive as their life is essentially what the body, the emotions, and thoughts pick up as information or data. All right? So whatever the body is experiencing, healthy, not so healthy, having a great time, emotionally, ecstatic, happy, depressed, the mental body, studying a lot of things, learning a lot of things, not learning much, all these things, the data that comes from it, put together, that is perceived as your outer life. The inner life, which is for most people are asleep, is the inner life is the life that is the perception from the self, the soul, that I'm not the body, emotions, and thoughts. I am me. So with this, I perceive the world. This is how I'm going to move my body. This is what I'm going to feel. This is what I'm going to think. So that's the outer life and the inner life. You have two lives. But in reality, it's just one life because it's from this life that you regulate the outer life. So it's just one controlled from within. Clear? So anyway, I went through that in detail in the earlier video, so go back and study it. Now, let's talk about where do we go from here. People always like to talk about oneness. You ask them what it is, most people give you ask 10 people, you get 10 different answers. You know why? Because they don't know. They just use the word, well, we're all connected. Okay, how are we connected? You're standing there, I'm standing over here. Well, we're connected in love. Define that. Oh, exactly. People are good at throwing out verses in holy books. They like to throw out like, oh yeah, we're one in spirit and love. Okay, tell me what it is. Exactly. It never fails. So we have to go into more detail. All right? And then you're going to get people that are, and I see this in social media, I see this in class, you go, why do we have to do all this? We're one with God anyway. So why do we have to meditate? Why do we do it? God is in everything. We're one with God. God is within us, outside of us. If there's only, as Islam says, there is nothing but God. Makes sense, right? Why do you meditate? Why do you be a good person, bad person? God permeates the entire universe anyway. Then, here's the secret. Here's the way my teacher explained it. That's why I love it. He said, okay, if you have a person who's thirsty, you tell them, hey, it's quite humid. So you're thirsty, just kind of inhale the air, suck it all in, and then you won't be thirsty anymore. The person's going to go, You're out of your mind. Give me a glass of water. No, there's water, water vapor everywhere. Just extract it from the air. Quench your thirst. Again, the person's gonna think you're nuts. Right? But qualitatively, it's true. There's water vapor. There's water here. Same thing, it's God is in everything. Here's the question. Is the quantity of water in the environment, in the air, the same as the quantity of water in here to quench your thirst? You ask any person, they don't have to have a degree, a rocket science degree, or whatever. You ask a kid, they're going to go, well, you ask me such a stupid question. Of course it's not the same. There's more water here than in the air. Exactly. Truth, to quote my teacher, truth has to be qualified, like what it is, and quantified. So if you take a caveman, you take a criminal, they're also one with God. So is the saint. But the question is, how is that amount of oneness? So the spiritual connection of the caveman or the super bad criminal, the spiritual connection is like this little tiny, like barely any signal coming from the divine. While the saint is a gigantic pole on top of the head, so the connection is instantaneous. It's just like one is on dial-up and really bad connection, and one is super, I don't know, broadband fiber, 10 gigabytes per second. Both are one with God. It's how much? That's why there's a bunch of lazy people. I don't have to do any of that stuff. We're one with God anyway. Yeah. How come your life is a big fat mess? Well, exactly. Anything you say after that doesn't matter to me because it doesn't make any sense. I know some of you are saying, yeah, you're being too harsh. I don't babysit. Tell it like it is. You screwed up. Get your life together. That's what my teacher did to me. He didn't say, it's okay to keep screwing up, a little more, and then you learn the lesson eventually. He goes, no, stop it. Make sense? So your quantity of spiritual connection determines your quantity or amount of oneness. That's that. In other words, your spiritual connection determines your level of oneness. Now, you go, okay, this oneness stuff sounds good. What the heck is oneness? Everybody talks about oneness, right? Oneness with this, one with this, that. If you ask them what it is, again, you're going to get a bunch of, I just feel love for everyone. That's not oneness. That means you're simply a loving person. So let's take it a little deeper. So, again, the bulk of this is in this morning's talk, okay? So I'm not going to go through that again. Please go back and study it. So you experience yourself as the spiritual self. You're handling a hammer, handling a chisel, handling a screwdriver, whatever. These are your tools. So the body is a tool. The emotional body or the astral body is a tool. The mental faculty is a tool. These are your tools that the soul uses. Another way to put it is something like this. When you're doing your meditation, you're trying to immobilize your body, right? You don't want to be moving around meditating. You say, I want to sit comfortably, be still. What are you trying to do? You're trying to isolate the meditator from the physical sensations. Translation, you're trying to say, I don't want the body to bother me because I'm not the body. You're trying to calm the emotions. You're trying to quiet the thoughts. So at that point, you start to have a certain level of realization. Okay, I'm observing, I'm not this body. I'm observing these feelings that have calmed down. I'm experiencing, noticing the thoughts are also disappearing. Who is the one observing all these things? I am. So who's this I am? That's the soul, the spiritual self, right? We covered that before. Okay. So what you're doing there, that's what you call centering. All right. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'm centering myself." What does that mean? I don't know. I'm calm myself down. That's not centering. Real centering is going back to who you are, your true center. So when you do that, okay, when you have a realization, I'm not this body, emotion, thought. These are not the I. Who am I? I am. I'm that being who is controlling these three instruments. Then you go deeper. How come when I go to that phase of trying to know who I am, I feel a freedom? I feel an expansion. I feel lighter. I feel nothing. Because the I, the spiritual self, is made of nothing. That's why when you talk to monks that are meditating, what are you doing? I'm meditating on nothing. So what are you meditating on? Nothing. So again, you go back and forth going crazy. It's like, what the heck is nothing? Then I remember my teacher said, it's very, very simple. The monk is meditating on nothing. The thing, there's no thing. There's no mass. So if there's no mass, there's nothing to handle. So they're meditating on nothingness. They're meditating on just pure energy. Now, to take it a little deeper, but you're saying, well, according to Einstein, E is equal to mc squared. So the mass and energy are interchangeable. So when you say there's nothing, how could there be energy? Here's the difference. Beyond that is what you call spiritual energy. And science has put it in such a way, a lot of you have studied this already, so I don't want to bore you with details. They say that if you take a box, if you extract, this is a mind experiment, that's how Einstein did it. Mind experiment. If you extract all the atoms out of a box completely, it's still not completely empty. It's still filled with some fields because the universe is basically fields. So this field also has data. One way to look at it, you, the spiritual self, is pure energy. You don't have mass. The soul doesn't have mass. So what is it? It's consciousness. So just imagine you have fields, but I have data that have individualized. That's the soul. So that spiritual self, when you do your meditation and spiritual practice, not the body, not the emotion, not the thoughts, I am. I'm what? I am. I know. You're what? I am that I am thingy with no thingy. It's pure energy. Oh. Watch this. As you're doing your meditation, when you get to that level, and we'll do this tonight, I'm not just going to be yak, 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 yak. We always believe in theory and practice, okay? So when you get to that part, again, depends on your level of depth that you can do this. You start experiencing like a form of void or emptiness or nothingness. However, it's just like you're inside that nothing, and yet it feels like you're experiencing emptiness. Like the emptiness and the nothing is also you. Watch this. So as you get to that point, you're experiencing the I am is nothing. A lot of you have told me in your comments, like, yeah, it's the weirdest thing. It feels like I'm floating. It feels like somebody's pulling me out of my head. It feels like I'm going somewhere, but I'm also here at the same time. So the easiest way to understand is something like this. After this, we'll do the meditation, okay? Imagine if you have a piece of ice, solid. When it melts, it becomes liquid. It still has surface area, so it kind of gathers a certain place. When that water evaporates, it becomes water vapor. And that water vapor is now part of the atmosphere. To look at another way, As long as we are living the outer life, you think, go back to the earlier lesson. As long as we're living the outer life, this is the soul, put a portion of the soul into this physical body that emotionally, mentally loves cookies. Okay? That's the outer life. So when you do your meditation, when you say, I'm not this body that keeps chomping on cookies, and these emotions and thoughts are obsessed and desires cookies, ta-da! The hand now realizes it's free of this, and it's now part of this. Make sense? So what happens is this. Over time, as you go deeper into meditation and being aware of who you really are, you start to really be able to observe, oh, that's my body. Oh, those are my emotions. Those are my thoughts. I am that, the being that uses these things. And then at some point, you start realizing, so if I'm not these, I'm not anything material, what am I? Then you start to experience, oh, I'm pure energy. So if I'm pure energy, why do I have to be encapsulated and imprisoned in this limited space? It's just like if you have smoke in a bottle, the minute you remove the cap, low concentration, high concentration, it comes out. So in your case, yeah, why do I have to be inhibited and constrained by this physical, emotional, mental shell? So when you meditate, you go, I'm not this body, I'm not this emotion, I'm not these thoughts. And guess what happens? You're like the ice cube that turned to water vapor, in the atmosphere. That's what people call expansion of consciousness. That's that. Okay? Now, how is it possible to have expansion of this consciousness? You see, most of us have this three-dimensional perception. I'm here, you are there, I move from point 1 to point 2, I travel at a certain speed to get there. Make sense? All of us know this. But consciousness doesn't work that way. Consciousness is not like from here, I'm going there. Doesn't work that way. Consciousness is everywhere and here simultaneously. I think that's too much for you. See, people keep talking about 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions. If you ask them what it is, I haven't gotten a straight answer yet. But it's as simple as this. Since you guys are super, super sharp, we'll make it easy for you. I don't have that box with me again. Anyway, so we told you 3 dimensions, height, with depth, right? A box. The 4th dimension, not counting space, not counting time, I'm talking about spatial dimensions. It's just like, imagine that box. There's another box in another cube in every part. All right? Now watch this. Our 3-dimensional mind will say, okay, you just added a box here, on top, a cube on top of every corner. You put a cube. So there's the outside cube and the inside cube. By the way, that hypercube we're talking about is what they call the tesseract. Of course, Marvel made it even more exciting, the tesseract. You go to anyone who speaks Greek, tessera means 4. Okay? Anyway, side comment. That's not the right way to look at it. It's not like, oh yeah, we have a cube and we'd put these cubes. So basically, 4th dimension is I see outside cube, inside cube. Nope. In order to understand the higher dimensions, you're seeing the inside and the outside as one picture. So when you say expansion of consciousness, you're not saying, okay, I'm now here in Los Angeles. I'm doing my meditation. I'm now expanding. Now my consciousness is reaching Nevada, is reaching the Pacific Ocean, is reaching Canada. No, it's not like it's going, because that still implies that there is movement within space. Consciousness doesn't work that way. Consciousness, basically, when there's an expansion of consciousness, the limitation is just your brain cells. That's why you talk to yogis and experiencing a connection to all. What do you mean? In other words, they sense what's going on simultaneously. On that side of the world, that side of the world, that frequency at the same time. They don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to go to a website to get that information. Now, to make it a little easier to understand, so much for my short lecture. So, Sai Baba of Shirdi, okay? Shirdi Sai Baba of Shirdi. Very, very famous story. I don't have the book here with me. Anyway, so the story goes something like this. One night, he was meeting with his students and look at one woman and says, "Thank you for feeding me." The woman said, "Master, I didn't see you today till tonight." The teacher said, "When you fed that hungry dog, you fed me." Okay? Now, if you talk to most people from India who know that story, they say, yeah, the teacher was turned into a dog to teach that woman compassion. And I remember messages said, no. The real teaching is like this. The teacher is one with all. So whatever the students are experiencing or doing, the teacher's soul, the spiritual self of the soul, or the teacher, is also experiencing it. In other words, whatever you do to that thing or that dog to other people, you're doing to your teacher. They put it another way. We have the perception that you're there over here, but consciousness is simultaneously in that network all at the same time. I know some of you are like, okay, this is getting really crazy. So I'll stop there as far as that part of it, because the further I go in, I think some of you the more you go, what the heck is he talking about? Let's take it to what the purpose of this talk is tonight, which is this. Once you experience that the self, the I, is not material, is not constricted by a shell, you feel or you experience an expansion or a freedom. In that expansion, you start to experience you're not the only one experiencing it. So is that guy, that woman, all other beings, when they reach that level of awakening, they start to realize, hey, it's just like everybody, like in the office, everybody goes like this out of their cubicle. Oh, I'm not the only one here. And you see all these heads pop up. But instead of just popping up, they have a realization like, oh, I'm one with everything. And so is that guy. So before you know it, you're experiencing that everyone is experiencing the identical thing, which is blending as one. So the one self, the I, who experiences not the body, not the emotional thoughts, I'm the soul. Once you awaken to that, you start to realize, I'm not the only soul around. And at some point, when you have that realization, I'm not the only soul around, there are other souls, how come that light and that light are connected to me? How come we're like an ocean of light? And then you start to realize this light, this ocean of light in the universe, is one self. That self is God. That's that. Shall we meditate before your brain explodes? Okay, ready? Okay. Sorry, I think we got carried away here. By the way, before you guys space out, what I went through with you, some schools will call it Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga. Why is it called Raja Yoga? The word Raja means king or royalty, right? King, Raja, kingly yoga. So most people go, what was it got to do with that? You know, if you have Kundalini yoga, they work with the Kundalini. You have mantra yoga. You have this yoga. What is Raja yoga? So Raja yoga is actually a collective set of teachings that has one objective, the highest, the most kingly objective, which is become one with God, one with all. And a big part of that is using all your faculties, from your body to your feelings to your thoughts to having that realization. Here, we just went through in detail of using your mental faculty to climb that mountain. Because at some point, when you have that realization, you go, yeah. That's why many of you have said, even without doing the meditation, just listening, and you have the aha moment after aha moment after aha, you go, and at some point, you just have peace. Because at that point, guess what happened? Using that realization, just understanding and knowing, that opening happens. So let's just do it. Inhale slowly, exhale slowly. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Observe your body inhaling, observe your body exhaling. Just keep observing it. The body is inhaling, exhaling. Just observe. As you observe it, keep your tongue on your palate, silently say, I'm not this body, I'm not this breathing, I'm not this breath. Now just observe it. You're the observer. Next, observe any feelings that you have. What you're experiencing, whatever feelings you're having now, happy, upset, disappointed, joyful, doesn't matter. Just observe. Observe the emotions. Watch it move up and down. Watch it expand and contract. Just observe. As you observe it, say, I'm not any of these emotions. Be still. Now observe the thoughts. What are the thoughts popping in and out of your mind? Just watch them. Oh, yeah, I thought of my brother. Oh, I thought of lunch. I thought of dinner. I thought of my project. I thought of this. Just observe them. Observe the thoughts that are popping up left and right. Just watch them. Just like watching clouds in the sky. Oh, interesting cloud. That looked like boom, whatever. And you watch. Very interesting. Oh, interesting thought. Just keep watching. As you observe these thoughts, just say, I'm not these thoughts. I'm the thinker who created these thoughts. Look at your emotions. I'm the feeler that created these feelings. I'm the mover that at this point stopped my body from moving. Just be still. Now gently go deeper within. What do you really mean, but I'm not the body? I just moved it or stopped moving it. What do I really mean when I said I'm not these feelings? I created them. What did I really mean when I say I'm not these thoughts? I created these thoughts. After all, before I created the feelings and the thoughts, I already existed. So I could not be them. Which begs the question, who am I? Just be still. Answer the question within. Who am I? I am the soul. I am the spiritual self. I am that. I am that being that moved the body creates those feelings and creates those thoughts. I am that being. I am that. That am I. Be still. Just allow your consciousness and awareness, now that it's not dragged down by the body, the emotions, and thoughts, you're free. Experience who you are. Just listen. I'm not the physical body. I am the soul, the spiritual self. I am not the emotions. I am the soul, the spiritual self. I'm not even the mind. I am the soul, the spiritual self. I am that. Just be still. I am the spiritual self. I am the divine self, immortal, eternal, radiant with spiritual light. I am that self of light. That self am I. Be still. I am the spiritual self. I am the divine self, immortal, eternal, radiant with spiritual light. I am that self of light. That self am I. Be still. The self in me, the Atma, is one with the self in all, the Paramatma. I am that self in all. That self am I. Be still. The self in me is one with the self in all. There is only one self, one life, one God. I am that. That am I. And so it is. Be still, let go. The self in me is one with the self in all. I am. take you higher. Let go. Now. Gently, very slowly, very gently and slowly slide back into your physical body. Move your fingers, move your toes a little bit. That helps you come back. All right, it's a very different meditation. This one, the one this morning and now, they're different than we normally do meditation Twin Hearts. But this one, I just felt guided that we should dive deeper into this so you have a better understanding of who you really are. Because otherwise, everything's just drama outside of the eye. If you experience stillness, let me know. If you didn't want to come back, let me know. We have to make sure pull you back. Now, somebody said earlier, I saw somebody said, hey, you're giving all this for free. Well, exactly the point. You still don't practice? You're the problem. Simple as that. Something so simple, if you practice regularly, your life changes. Because you now get to be the one directing your life. Make sense? So I think we'll leave it at that. Just a quick announcement. For the ones who are in Prosperity Zen, tomorrow night we're having the Q&A. All right, that's going to be, you go to your account for Prosperity Zen. That's tomorrow night. That's the Q&A. We weren't able to do it last week. It's tomorrow, 10th at 6 p.m. California time. All right, and Inner Teachings of Buddhism mini workshop is still available. Just go to mastercode.org. All right, so Friday is Prosperity Healing and Emotional Healing. So we will see you then. Make sure you have your bucket of salt water. It's always easier so that when we cleanse and disintegrate a lot of stuff, it gets flushed out. I think that's it. Let's give thanks to the Divine Supreme One, Divine Father, Mother. Thank you to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, and spiritual helpers. To my beloved and respected teacher, Master Tokok Sui Mahagu Jumailing, we thank you for divine light, love, guidance, help, healing, divine protection. We thank you. In full faith, so it is. Right, just one quick thought before I let you go. I highly, highly recommend watch the video we did this morning, the earlier one, the one before this one. Talks about your two lives that merges one, and this one. Put the two together. I would recommend if you really want to learn, and this is not an ego thing. It's not nothing with me. I just between these two, you will see the entire picture. Okay? So the morning session and this session, put it all together. Watch it, take notes. I guarantee you will have a lot of moments you go, oh. And here's the trick. After you finish watching both and you took notes, put your notes down. Simple technique. If you stayed this long with me, you deserve to know this. Simple technique. Make all the difference in the world. After you watch both videos, you took your notes, you put your notes down, close your eyes, put your tongue on your palate. Just put your attention a few inches above your head. Just stay there. Something will happen. Let me know. Namaste, everyone. We will see you, a lot of you, for tomorrow night for the Q&A for Prosperity Zen. Otherwise, we will see you Friday morning for emotional healing. In the evening is prosperity healing. Namaste, everyone. You all take care. God bless.